in our garage and test facility. Let's see what we're rolling out today. And I think I'm still on the A list because last week we had a nice Mercedes, so let's hope we keep up that trend. Well, lucky me, looks like I've got a Lexus, an expensive looking one too. And not just an RC series, but top of the line RCF. We'll explain that a little bit later. And if you want to know why it's top of the line, I'll give you a hint with those quad exhaust pipes. Nice looking rig from the rear, by the way. And I see my friend the stupid crow still following me all over town. Come back here. We also tested the Lexus LC500 with the same V8 engine we have in the RCF, except this vehicle costs about 20 grand more. We have a link for that video at the end of this video. We also tested the Lexus RC350, which is the same as the RCF, except it has a milder V6 engine. We have a link for that video coming up at the end of this video as well. So you're getting 3 videos for the price of 1, which is free. The RCF has the same V8 found in the LC500. Cranks out 472 horsepower to an 8-speed automatic. 0 to 60 time is around 4.8 seconds compared to the LC500, which is 4.4 seconds because it uses a 10-speed automatic instead of the 8-speed transmission this one has. Fuel economy is listed at 16 in the city and 24 on the highway using high-octane gas. We'll be racking up some miles to see if that's really true. If you don't want a spring for the top-of-the-line RCF V8, there are other engines available in the lower-level versions. A 2.0 4-cylinder turbo putting out 241 horsepower, and a 3.5-liter V6 putting out 311 horsepower. They still make a 3.5 D-Tune 260 horsepower with all-wheel drive, but unless you live in Alaska and need traction, I don't know who would buy that. But apparently they still make it, for those interested. As you can imagine, a nice looking rig like this isn't going to be cheap, starting at $64,900, but this one was loaded up with all the goodies. 19-inch hand polished, not machine polished, hand polished 20-spoke wheels. That'll cost you an extra $1,500 bucks. $300 for the orange brake calipers. Then we get inside, $2,725 bucks for the navigation system, $3,350 for the premium package with memory seats, and I won't read all this stuff off, you're getting the idea. $595 for this premium bright metallic red paint job. $1,250 bucks for a torque vectoring differential in the rear. Like these triple beam LED headlights, will set you back $1,160 bucks. Let's take these out in the dark right now and see how they work. For that kind of money, they better work pretty good. It's dark enough. Let's take these lights out and see what they do. Look pretty bright, but then again, I have them on high beam. Here we have the brights on the building 100 feet away. Very bright, good height, good spread, good low beam. Wow. Bright, but extremely low. Doesn't even hit the wall. Should be interesting to see what happens at a longer distance, and we'll find that out next. Here we have the brights on the building 300 feet away. No complaints here. Lights up the whole countryside. Good height, good width, plenty of power. Go low beam. Not so impressive, especially on the left side. I'd say about halfway. 110 feet, 130. Okay for city driving, I guess, but on a country, I scared the cat. On a backcountry road, this is not going to cut it. We'll have to use the brights on the back roads. By the way, when you change driving modes, you get a light show. Here's Eco mode, Sport mode, and Sport Plus. Neat. Here's the reverse camera image in the dark. Looks pretty good to me. A lot of other options I didn't mention because they're less than $500, but in the end, $80,000, $14 for a fully loaded RCF is what you're going to pay if you want one. You would think for all this money they would give you a spare tire, but they don't. There's a cheesy tire repair kit under the floorboard here. They did charge $400 for this cargo net and wheel locks though, which is kind of expensive. And here's my emergency tire repair kit because I don't like the ones they provide by the factory. Let's take a peek at the cabin because that's where you're going to be living when you're driving this. I see the rocker panels are excessively wide and they will get dirty if you're driving in rain, mud, or snow. They need to be wiped down quite a bit if you don't want stuff on your pants. Let's look at the good features, and starting here, paddle shifters on the steering wheel where they belong, not on the steering column like the Italians do where they don't belong. Easily reached regardless of wheel position, the way it should be. You have a knob here for Eco, Normal, Custom, Sport, Sport Plus modes. Traction control button, torque vectoring differential, is that what they called it? And a launch control for doing your 0 to 60 drag racing at the local burger stand. Heated seats or air-conditioned seats, doesn't matter. Just a push of a button. No need to scroll through an infotainment screen, thank you very much. Climate controls were easy to use, although I didn't really care for this push button thing to control the temperature. It's a gimmick. Rather have a knob, but we don't. It works okay, so I won't complain too much. You get a decent sized glove box. You put a lot more stuff in there if you take the thick owner's manual out and put it in the trunk. And as you can see, it is thick, thicker than a phone book. It needs to go in the trunk. Now we can do some of the not so great features, and starting with the finger touch pad, which Lexus went to instead of the control stick on their older models, and this is very frustrating to use, especially if you're moving. It just doesn't work very well. So curse at it all you want and feel better, but it's not going to make things go away. Yeah, moving this is easy when you're sitting still, not so much when you're driving at 75 miles per hour on the freeway. You'll get used to it. There is a long learning curve. Better have a strong finger too. Like most cars in this class, the rear seats are for show only. Unless you know somebody who doesn't have legs or you're hauling monkeys. I don't know who's going to fit back there unless you have relatives coming from out of town, you want to get rid of them. Stick them back here, take them on a nice 800-mile road trip. They'll leave town in a hurry and never come back. On the mixed emotion side, the gauge cluster is very well designed. Gives lots of useful information, easy to read, to a point, only because I'm in the shade. But get out in the sun, this is what you see or don't see. And this seems to be common on many Lexus vehicles for some reason. You would think this would have been spotted before it went into production, especially since they do their testing in Arizona test centers where the sun shines all the time. How did this get into production? I don't get it. Now, in all fairness, it only happens at certain times of the day, at certain angles of the sun. Like so. Just depends on what direction you're going. Obviously, if you're going in this direction today, now you can read it. But this whole thing is totally unnecessary, and well, you just have to live with it. Before we get on the road, let me explain what this TVD is, according to the owner's manual. I'll just read it. The torque vectoring differential distributes driving force between the right and left rear wheels automatically. The system contributes to enhanced steering response while cornering and increased traction when exiting a corner, providing an agile driving experience. Got that? And it comes in 3 settings: standard, slalom, and track. Okay, first half of the video, show and tell. The boring part is over. Second half, we're going to take this out and do some driving, get some fuel economy readings, take it out in the sticks in a tight mountain corner, see how it sticks to the road. You know the drill. By the way, Lexus recommends 36 pounds of air in these tires, which I find to be a bit excessive, but I'm going to drive to factory specs. And because of the heat we have out here, about 100 degrees, plus I'm sure the temperatures will be raising over 40 pounds per square inch by the time we're driving. This is going to result in probably a stiffer ride than you might get if you live in Alaska, but that's just the way it is. As we do in all of our videos, we're going to take some mild speed bumps around 20 miles per hour to evaluate the suspension performance and impact. And away we go. Bump number 1. Not bad, cushioned well enough. Number 2. Let's speed it up a little bit for bump number 3. Here comes the nasty one. Yeah, I felt that one, but it was still cushioned fairly well. Overall, more than acceptable. Lexus has done a great job on their electric power steering, giving it the old-fashioned hydraulic feel. No complaints here. If only the German manufacturers like Mercedes, BMW, and Audi could copy this. They still haven't learned how to make electric power steering systems like the Japanese. Well, Japanese Lexus anyway. We really don't need to take this on the turning circle because I'll be taking this on some tight mountain curves tomorrow, but we're already here and security's got the day off. So let's give it a turn. Yeah, we're really hanging in here. I think we're going to have fun with this one. The suspension on this vehicle is fairly quiet and smooth if you have smooth pavement, but if you get on the freeway and get some rough asphalt, it's a whole different ball game. The tires are very noisy and these bigger wheels don't help. Yeah, here we have a nasty patch of road. I'm only doing 55 miles per hour. You can hear the tire thumping and the wheel groaning and everything else coming into the cabin here. Live in Detroit or Chicago where the potholes are the size of manhole covers. Oh, there's a nasty one. Oh! You might not find this very pleasant to drive. That's a sports car, so what do you want? It's nice to have the launch control if you're on the racetrack, but with this power you really don't need it. You put it in the Sport Plus mode, and even with the traction control on, you this seat. Oh yeah. We're going to take this out tonight in the back roads and do some sporty driving around tight curves, but I'm reluctant to do so because every time I take a Lexus out there in the sticks, I seem to get attacked by bats and snakes. Seems to be a Lexus curse. Well, I guess we'll see tonight. These headlights picked up a little friend. A nice big rattlesnake. We're going to reset the fuel economy program at 0, take a nice highway trip. See what type of fuel economy we get at freeway speeds. It's happy hour. I'll have to say this is one of the noisiest vehicles I've ever driven on the freeway. The tires and the wheels make a lot of thumping and whining noises, and it all comes right into the cabin. Amazing considering the weight of the vehicle and the price tag on top of that. Oh well, it's just the way it is. We're coming to the end of the line. We'll pull over and see what the fuel economy reading is. 23.3 mpg. That's about what I expected. And I think that's the best we're going to see. We're going to take this car out on some backcountry curvy roads. I can see we have a problem with these headlights on low beam. Here we have the high beam on, lighting up the signs a quarter mile away, but on low beam these lights just don't reach out at all. And again, you can see with the brights on, we can see half a mile away with the low beams. Disappears in the pavement. There's a lot of mountain lions and worse skunks out here, so we'll keep the brights on so we don't hit them. They get kind of mad when you do that. Makes for a very bad situation. If you put the program in sport mode, the transmission stays in lower gears for better acceleration, as you would expect. Unfortunately, it stays in the lower gears a bit longer than I would like, making a lot more revving and fuel consumption than I would like. It's a nice transmission, just not as sophisticated as the ones you get in the Audi and BMWs, where they always choose the right gear at the right second. But this is what you get, and I can live with it. In any case, this RCF definitely hugs the road, there's no doubt about that. This is one of the most dangerous roads in the area, especially if you're driving at night. Very few guardrails, and if you go over the edge, it's a long ways down. Sometimes they don't find people for months after the snakes and bats have eaten them. But I think we'll be okay in this vehicle. It's pretty solid and stays on the road pretty nice. Try to keep it under 100 miles per hour. Just kidding. Nice brakes, by the way. I was going to pull over, let the brakes cool off, but every time I pull over around here in a Lexus, the rattlesnakes come out and want to bite me. Only when I'm driving a Lexus for some reason. So I'm not going to take a chance tonight. We'll go back to town and wrap up this video. So what's my take on the Lexus RCF? Well, it's a fantastic vehicle. Great fun to drive, even though it is a bit on the expensive side. To me, it's like this. If someone hands me the keys to the RCF V8 or the keys to the RC V6, I'd rather take the V8. Which is why I did. If I'm paying for it, buying one out of my own pocket, don't dismiss the V6 version. It's smoother, quieter, not that slow, does 0 to 60 in just over 6 seconds, gets around 28 miles to the gallon. A far more practical vehicle. But I wasn't looking to get practical, I was looking to get performance, and that's why I got this. And if you can afford the 80 grand, you'll like it too. Here's some links to other Lexus sporty cars we've driven. Just click and watch.